You've had a lot of experience working with the dying, and through this process, you've got to witness certain patterns and ways of being that people inhabit as they get close to death or they start to become conscious of, oh, I'm actually dying. Um, would you say that what you got to witness through your work with palliative care was kind of like the average person's response to death? And in that sense, it what you're saying is it's very applicable, it's very relevant to the average person because this is probably the response that the average person would have. But I'm wondering if do you think that these patterns would hold for a very dedicated a spiritual practitioner or monastic, somebody who lives their life in a way where death is always held close?
That's a good question, and there's a lot in it. The first thing I'd say is, and this probably won't surprise you, I try to remember if I met an ordinary average person. I can't recall one right now, you know. I'm not saying everybody's blisteringly unique, because if that's true, why are you and I talking? Because who could possibly understand what we're saying if they're not us? So that the whole thing's nonsense about, particular individuals and all the rest. So it's not a continuum. I'm saying that I was in the redemption business when I worked in the death trade. I was there was something miraculous that was ongoing. But the miracle was very ordinary. It wasn't spectacular. It wasn't the, time stopping, the sky opening up and some mystery hand reaching in. And no, that's not mysterious. That's unnatural. Miracles are natural, naturally occurring things. They belong in the architecture, right? So most people came on my watch, most people came to their dying in the way that they lived. So now if you lived in a death-phobic culture and you didn't get much instruction at all, you saw very, very few examples of what it looked like to live the thing out, you see, to live in the presence of your dying instead of in spite of it. Well, what are you going to draw on when it's your turn? You're going to draw on what you saw, and most importantly, what you didn't see. So if that's ordinary, yep, I saw that over and over, and sadly over and over again. And it didn't have to be that way, but it usually was. So then you realize if people die in the manner of their living, what you got to do if you want to try to be of help for them is do something about their manner of living. Not wait until their manner of dying becomes a foreclosure, Give them a chance early on by asking an awful lot of them and promising very little. That's my gig. I'm the reverse of the politician who wants you to vote for him. I don't promise you hardly anything at all, and I ask an awful lot, and then you either walk through the door or you don't. It's not for me to say whether you should or whether you shouldn't, but you can tell from the way I'm carrying myself if I think you should or not. But not should from a moral finger wagging point of view. Should because other people are watching, man. Other people are watching how you die. Okay, you are their place where they're getting a PhD in life. So what do you propose that they learn from your manner of dying? There. Now you're talking about something that matters. Well, what good is that going to do you? Well, it's a little late for you to ask for a payday in how you die. But your manner of death could be somebody else's payday. To get a chance to see something that borders on being the real thing, you see. Then you're a culture worker in your dying. Now, the second part of your question about, people who've lived a life. Well, they become exactly the person I just told you about. They become, just by their little example, they become a rumor that it doesn't have to be the miserable, fear-driven thing that it so often is. It's not automatic. In other words, terror does not belong to dying. It's imported and Velcroed on, but it doesn't belong there. But it's a huge act of learning to let that shit go and to realize that you're dying unto someone else now. This is not your dying. It's entrusted to you. So how shall you care for it? And how shall you be? And so I'm back to, the very beginning of the show. I say something like, so how shall we be? And what shall we say now that the call and the summons and the plea has gone out? It's better that we make as though many a thing hangs there in the rafters above or hangs in the balance below, as if how we are with each other, that's how the Lord's a chance going to be with us. As if what we say this very evening is going to bring in the saints and the ancients of days, or it's going to bring down the darkness and the rough gods. I'm not keeping secrets up here. I'm laying it out. I'm saying, I think this is what's at stake. And don't think globally, think tonight. See, tonight. Tomorrow night in Boise, Idaho. That's what I'm coming down with. Coming down off the mountain with that. How's it going to go? I have no idea. Is there going to be a lot of takers? I doubt it very much. So doesn't that dispirit you? Fuck no. Why would I be dispirited about something that's going to happen anyway? No, I'm not in the metrics game. I'm not trying to rack up the hits. We don't have any hits. We have pleas and summons and calls. You answer it, you don't answer it. Bad timing, you didn't hear it this time. You're busy with your girlfriend, whatever it is. Okay, maybe there isn't a next time, who knows? But there's this time. And so the responsibility is you as fully as you can, you inhabit this time. And man, that's what I learned in the death trade. I know so many people who are dead, who would trade you and me all our problems like that for the chance to breathe again one more breath. That shit helps to know that.